He's one of the biggest names on the Indian screen, and in addition, he's also an actor of long standing. On top of that, he's one of the youngest looking, and those who know him say he's one of the nicest. Today, of course, he's my guest, and if you haven't guessed who I'm talking about, well, the answer is Anil Kapoor. Welcome to the program, Anil.
Hi, Karan.
You know, everyone talks about Anil's Peter Pan good looks, but 20 years after you started acting, do you find that flattering or a little embarrassing?
It's more than 20 years, Karan. But it is flattering and it makes me feel good. But sometimes I wonder, are they paying me a compliment? Do they really mean what they're saying? And what are they saying? They don't. And sometimes people say, yeah, you look younger when I meet you, or you look like this and you look like that. The first time you look better on screen, you look like this. And sometimes I wonder, I said, why are they saying that?
But
And
you
then
know,
yeah,
on the other side, there was Devyani Chaubal, who once wrote, she said that you had the look of a small-town pickpocket.
because those are the kind of roles I used to do, and well, sometimes I feel I think she was right because I carried those roles very well, and you know, like if you remember the films like Mashal and Andar Bahar and Karma, and I played that, you know, typical Tapori kind of roles.
I think it's the mischief in your eyes. Even when you're smiling, you look a little naughty.
And then I did that round look, you know, and these kind of roles, you know, which gave me that kind of look, and that my hairstyle and my mustache and my, you know, small chinky eyes and my smile. And
Your sister says he loves his looks. His favorite passion is looking in the mirror. Is she giving away a little secret?
no, nothing like that, Karan. Matter of fact, you won't believe it. Till I'd start shooting, then I look at, you know, like before I start really working and go in the front of the camera. Once I go in front of the camera, then I never look at myself. Before that, yes, definitely. I love looking at myself, and especially when I didn't have any work. You know, those are the days when I was my father's, you know, chauffeur. I used to drive him around, you know, all over Bombay, and तो उनके पास ड्राइवर नहीं था, पैसे भी नहीं थे, मतलब उतने पैसे बचाना चाहते थे, तो पढ़ा लिखा ड्राइवर मैं मिल गया उनको. So all the time when I was driving as ambassador, so constantly what I used to do drive less, but look into the, you know, window constantly. मैं ठीक तो लग रहा हूँ, hero बन सकूँगा कि नहीं, actor बन सकूँगा कि नहीं. So that was my, you know, that's the reason it became very, very, you know, my family and my sister and everybody teasing me because of that, those incidents, where almost I think a lot of times I think I almost banged the car.
Okay, let's go back to the very beginning of the Anil Kapoor story. Today, of course, you're a phenomenal success, but I gather you began in quite a humble, small way. It wasn't a wealthy family you were born into.
Karan, you see, I have to a certain extent never ever felt that I belonged to a family which was hand to mouth. But yes, I was. But my parents never made me feel that. They always made me feel as if, you know, everything is hunky-dory, you know, we got the best of everything. But definitely, we were hand to mouth. We lived in a place called Tiraknagar Township Colony in Chembur, and you know, we had one room, and we were about 4, 6 with my grandparents, 8 of us.
All in one room?
Well, all in one room, and there were no, you know, there were common bathrooms for about 100 people, and just 2, 3 bathrooms. So we used to go and stand in the line to go to the bathroom, and those kind of. We had those humble beginnings, yes, definitely.
I'm told that in those days Anil was extremely naughty, and that he used to collect the strangest things.
Yeah, I used to collect. I used to go at the back of the buildings. And there were these. It was a colony which had about 100 buildings, you know, and lots of flats. It's like the chawl, you know. It's a concrete chawl. You know, you have these chawls which are not concrete. These are concrete chawls. So families and all. So, and they had this backyard, you know, back of the building. So we all children used to go to the back of the building and collect, you know, those gold spot ke jo hote hain, crowns and small things. You
and
know,
cigarette packets as well?
Cigarette packets, and we used to play with those cigarette packets.
Your headmaster in school had a good nickname for you. Do you remember what he used to call you?
He called me Savage.
And were you a savage?
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, that's what he felt, because you see, the thing is, he felt that I was not really studying very hard and concentrating on my work and, you know, on my studies, so, and always, you know, doing these pranks and not sometimes bunking school and classes, and not only interested in cricket and football and, you know.
There was one other interest. Your mother
copying.
says that you loved telling stories. She says no one could have told a better story than Anil did.
Yeah. I had this habit of, you know, spinning yarns, you know, stories. My mother would be, you know, sitting with, you know, all these women, emotional women, especially, you know, I can name, you know, like there was Mrs. Krishna auntie, who's Mrs. Raj Kapoor, and her friends. They're all emotional and very sentimental kind of women, you know, and they get very emotional. So I used to come to the, and they would be sitting down together and having lunches and all. I used to come to the room and then come with the school bag and with my half pants and shirt and all. Start crying and spinning yarns and telling them, you know, what happened. I was going on the road and the scooter वाला आया, मुझे उसने पकड़ लिया, जबरदस्ती पकड़ा, स्कूटर में बिठाया, मैं चिल्ला रहा था, ये कर रहा था, बचाओ, बचाओ, all those.
And this was all complete make-believe?
Complete make-believe.
Total fiction?
Total make-believe. And then they would hug me and kiss me and, you know.
And you would love it?
I love it. I said, can I have a Coke? Can I have some money? And they would be very emotional about it. And everybody would give me all this, you know, hug me and, you know, give me all that importance and attention.
Was this when the actor was beginning to be born? Were you living a fiction world of your own so that you could be the star?
Well, to be honest with you, I never ever imagined that I would be a star. But definitely, yes, I wanted to be an actor. Never ever imagined that, you know, my dreams were always to be an actor. So yes, you can say, because I remember when I was in 7th standard, these yarns and these stories must be in 4th, 5th, 3rd, 5th, 6th standard. In 7th standard, then I got this opportunity. I had a friend of mine whose father was a junior artist supplier, and then he was looking out for a kid who would look like Shashi Kapoor and who could play junior Shashi Kapoor. And that's the time I said, okay, fine. And I told him, I said, yeah, I've spoken to my mother and father. They said yes.
And had you?
No, I had not.
So you went behind their back?
Yeah.
And you auditioned in total secrecy?
Absolutely. And I passed the audition. And, you know, and then I didn't tell my parents. But I said, let me get into the continuity. Let me start shooting and then I'll tell them. Otherwise, they won't let me work. Let me act in it. So that's what I did. And I went to Rooptara Studios. I think that's where the first shooting was. I was shooting with Pran Saab. And I did this one scene. And that's it. And I was in the film. And in the night when I came back, I had the makeup on. I didn't remove the makeup because I wanted everyone to know that I have become an actor. And I kept that makeup on for 3 days, two days, sorry. And overnight, didn't take a bath, shower in the morning. Next day I went to school with my makeup on. So that in the assembly, all my school friends and the whole school could see that here is someone who's special. Here is the one who has makeup on and he's an actor. So he is special compared to everybody.
The amazing thing is that in those days, although you were a great budding actor, you weren't very tall, were you? And you had a little complex about your height as well.
Absolutely, because my brother is very tall, Boni. He's, you know, he's about 6 something. My father's 6'1". My grandfather was 6.
And how tall were you?
I was still 10 standard. I was about 5'3", 5'4", 5'2", 5'3", 5'4".
And scared that you might never reach that?
Never reach. And then in my entire house, there were a lot of cupboards. We used to have these Godrej cupboards, you know, these cupboards which are made of metal and aluminium cupboards, you know, these kinds. So they had that. And all the cupboards had marks. You know, I should keep on taking my marks whenever I go tall. And someone told me that you eat a lot of plantains and you become very tall. So I started eating plantains and I don't know it. And suddenly I shot him in 5, you know, when I was I did my 11th. I went for an outdoor shoot in Ooty. I came back and before I could join college, I shot up 6 inches.
But you know, the amazing thing is, despite all this determination to be an actor and the fact that you even secretly auditioned and got yourself roles, when you actually applied to join the Film and Television Institute, they turned you down.
I failed. Can you imagine? Can you imagine I failed? And in my life, in my entire career, in my academic career, I've never failed. And here is a profession which I want to do. And I want to become an actor. And I have to give a written examination and I failed. I was very, very disappointed. But still, I didn't give up hope. There's a friend of mine, Mazhar Khan, the late Mazhar Khan, very close to me. He passed and both of us decided to go to the Pune Institute and meet our principal over there, Mr. Girish Karnad. And he was the principal. I said, let me go. I said, but you don't have an appointment. I just barged in and sat down the way I'm sitting down across. I said, listen, Girishji, I said, how can you? I want to become an actor. इसमें written और इसमें acting में क्या लेना देना है इसका?
What did he say?
मेरा screen test ले लो, मैं acting करके बताता हूँ वगैरह वगैरह. But no, these are the rules and this is what it is. And so I came out disappointed. And there I met Taneja Saab over there. And
This was Roshan Taneja.
Roshan Taneja Saab. And he was resigning from Pune Institute and opening his own institute in Bombay. And and he said, I'm, you know, opening the institute. I said, listen, okay, Pune Institute is an institution. Okay, you have the entire infrastructure. But definitely, I have a Guruji. I have Taneja Saab whom I can learn from. And I got very excited. And Mother, being a great, true friend of mine, he also said, okay, fine, I have passed, but I'll not join Pune Institute. I'll come with you. And he came with me and we did, we were from the first batch of Taneja Saab Actor Studio.
You then created a portfolio of photographs and you took it around from producer to producer, knocking on doors, looking for a role. But once again, it wasn't very easy, was it?
Yeah, there's a story behind, because I didn't have the money to really, because these star photographers were very expensive, and they would charge about 3,000, 4,000 rupees for a photo session, and I didn't have that kind of money. I didn't want to take it from my father. I had this thing about, trying to do it on my own. So there was some shows happening, and they needed some dancers to go abroad, and so this company, and I went and auditioned and met those people, and I was hired as one of the dancers. There were about 15 dancers. I was one of the dancers, which was touring in London and Europe, and that's the time I went abroad for the first time to perform on stage as a dancer. The main stars were, the painter Zarina Wahab. Nutanji was one of the main stars, and it was basically her show, and I was one of the dancers. And for one or two shows, Rishi Kapoor was the chief guest. He was not performing, he was just a chief guest at London Albert Hall. And that's how I made a little bit of money over there. And one jacket, I don't know if Chintu knows about it, if he sees this interview, and I flicked his jacket, one of his jackets, and with a little bit of money, I got his jacket, came to Bombay, and did this.
And got yourself photographed?
And got myself photographed by a photographer called Girish Shukla.
And that was the portfolio?
Portfolio. And then there was there was Amar Sons, which was very, very popular those days. And I took that Amarsan bag, put my photographs in that bag, and went to each and every office of the Bombay film industry.
Do you remember?
You name it, and I went there.
Do you remember Ek Baar Kaho? It's one of those movies you did during those early days. You got paid the princely sum of 1,500 rupees.
Yeah, because Rashtriya production was always a production which has encouraged a lot of newcomers, and a lot of newcomers got a lot of breaks from that production. So I said, this is a place where I'm going to get a break. So I would get up in the morning, first thing I would do, get in the car, drive my father, that was my permanent job, drive him to famous Mahalakshmi, get on the car,
check your looks in the mirror.
The mirror, yeah, that was constantly. And go to Rashtriya, sit down over there, sometime on the bench, sometime, there were some sofas outside. First, we could not meet the bosses, we could meet only the managers. So first met for the first manager, then we upgraded, went to the general manager. From the general manager, you would go to the, and then to the senior, and then we would, I got an opportunity to meet Raj Barjatia and Rajkumar Barjatia, a great, nice guy, very nice guy, very nice to me, and then...
So nice, in fact, that he offered you the role of the fourth friend of the hero.
No, I did audition for a few other films, like Paheli, there was a film which they were making, I auditioned for that film. I remember performing in Rashtriya Productions, live for them, They would be sitting like in the office, and I would go outside, come and I would come and then perform a scene. I did that. But ultimately they chose, I think, Arun Govil for that film. And
that was the story, wasn't it? Every time you were so close, and yet it didn't happen.
Yeah, never happened.
Today, when you look back on those struggling years, today you're one of the most famous actors on the Indian screen. Could you ever have imagined 20, 25 years ago that you would be Anil Kapoor, as successful as this?
No, never. Honestly. I knew that, I'd be an actor, I'd be acting, but I never knew that I would become a star, and I would never imagine that I would be sitting in front of you and you would be interviewing me for BBC.
You mean you've actually surprised yourself by your own success?
I'm shocked.
Life, in a sense, is a dream come true.
Yes, you see, the thing is, what this profession has done to me is that I've met a lot of fantastic people. I've been, very fortunate to be worked with one of the best talents, best co-stars, and I've traveled a lot. And you feel it's just the beginning. That's the best part of this profession. You still feel you have to learn so much, like an ocean. So that's what I love about this profession. You feel you've not achieved anything. You have to achieve so much. And you feel like a newcomer. I still feel, that I have to do so much.
Anil, let's take a break at that point. I want to come back in part 2 and talk about not Anil Kapoor, the actor, but about the man sitting in front of me. We'll be back in a moment's time. See you then. Welcome back. My guest is the one and only Anil Kapoor. Anil, let's talk a little about yourself. You've had a string of awards, a couple of filmfares and a national award. What does this sort of recognition mean to you?
It depends, it depends. It definitely reassures you and reassures your talent. And matter of fact, I feel sometimes, but let me be very honest with you, it's a matter of luck also sometimes. There are times, I'll be very honest with you, when I got the award for Beta, I got the Best Actor Award for Filmfare Award, I was shocked. And at that moment, there was...
you weren't hoping for it?
No, I was not hoping for it. Matter of fact, you won't believe it, on Doordarshan, I had gone live and I said, this year Amir is going to get the award. And you can go and check it. I said, Amir for Jo Jeeta wo Sikandar. And I got it for Beta.
So do you believe in luck?
Yeah, you see, it's not that it was a bad performance. It was okay. It was, above average. But not a performance, you can say, which deserved Best Actor
You
trophy.
seriously wouldn't have given yourself the award?
No, I wouldn't have. For Beta.
There's also the flip side. You've had a certain number of flops, including movies that you produced yourself. When that happens, do you get hurt easily?
See, to be honest with you, it depends, it depends, see, you move on in life, you move on, and especially an actor, and, after spending so many years in film industry and being, not only spending as an actor, but being a son of a film producer who also has made films, and, a family which was really used to giving a lot of flops. So for us, to a certain extent, my father always said, to just move on,
So each finished movie is the closed chapter. Look for the
absolutely
next
closed
one.
chapter. Matter of fact, it is 1 or 2, 3 days, maximum 4 days, that you are slightly, wanting what is the result. After the 5th day, you're on to the next role, on to the next film, on to the next job. So many other things, so many other beautiful things, and ultimately you reach in life that films, yes, it is very important, but it's not everything in the world.
How easy is it to keep that perspective, that films isn't everything in the world?
See, it's a passion with me. I love working in films. I love acting. But today I feel there is life beyond that also. Definitely. There is a life beyond that. There is family. There are my children, there are my friends. There's a country, there's a universe. There's so much to do, besides really thinking about myself.
In 1984, you got married to your wife, Sunita. How did you meet her?
You want to know that? Well, I don't know, I'm sure she's not going to like this, but I didn't meet her. She had this habit of calling up, she used to call me up. And I never knew who's this girl who calls me up. And she kept on calling me up. And she was not, but I liked her voice very much. And the way she spoke. I used to live in Chembur, which was a suburb of Bombay. And I could feel that this girl sounds very sophisticated, sounds very good. She's got a great voice, she's got a great vocabulary, and great projection, and she's sounding intelligent. And so I got attracted towards his voice, and I kept on speaking.
You're really seriously telling me she was a secret admirer and you fell in love with her voice?
No, I don't think she was a secret admirer. She was just having fun. I don't think so. She really...
So she was teasing you, and you fell in love with the sound of her voice?
She was just teasing. I don't think so. She really was taking it very seriously, this thing which she was doing. But I had taken it very seriously, and I got attracted towards it. And ultimately, I came to know that she's one of my very close friends' friend. Then I met her, but still, when I met her, I said, no, yeah, what I imagined, it's not, I was, okay, fine, she's good.
You weren't in love at first sight?
No, I was not. I was in love with the voice, but I was not in love with her when I saw her, But I said, okay, but she can be a great friend. So we became friends for a few years. We became friends for a few years. We traveled abroad, we went abroad, we spent a lot of time together. Matter of fact, almost for 4 or 5 years, we had platonic friendship, complete platonic, absolutely friends.
Not even a kiss?
Not even holding hands.
You were very restrained?
Very restrained.
Or you found her very unattractive?
No, because I had a lot of other, girls and friends. And
you hadn't made up your mind which one?
Which one, yeah.
So when did you pop the question?
It happened that we came back from a long trip abroad. We were together for 45 days. And she left early. She was in London. We both were in London. She left early. I came a week, 10 days later. But in that week, I started missing her. There were times when we were so friendly that she would speak about her future husband. She would speak about her boyfriend. I would speak about my girlfriend. My girlfriend.
Without actually intending her to be your future wife?
Yeah.
And without her intending you to be her future husband?
Absolutely. There were times when I would say, there's a friend of mine, your friend, please call her up here. She's stopped talking to me. She's in Delhi and I'm trying to call her up. She's banging the phone on me to call her up. And she would do that.
But Sunita says a very interesting thing. She says, when you eventually did pop the question, it wasn't to her.
Yeah.
You proposed to her sister instead.
Sister and her family, as a matter of fact. Sister was there, she was there with the family, and I said, I'm ready, come on, let's get married tomorrow. I didn't say that,
And you said tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow as well, yeah.
Why were you then suddenly in such a rush?
Because I never wanted to get married, you know. I never wanted to get married, and you know, and I said, I guess, you know, I was enjoying this whole process of
And you
being
said to yourself, if I don't get married tomorrow, I'm going to change my mind.
yeah, I changed my mind. I'm never going to ever get married. And my friends, you know, my friends had cursed me, and they used to make fun of me. I said, Anil, you mark my words, you're going to get married to this girl only, Sunita. I said, impossible. Pagal hai kya? You know, yaar, you know me. Every 3 months, 4 months, I have a different girlfriend. You think I'm going to get married? Impossible, yeah.
Have you been a
I
good
can't.
husband after all of this?
Well,
You have doubts about it.
yeah, I've got doubts. I could have been better, to be honest with you. I'm being very honest with you. I
Are
could
you
have been a
trying
better.
to improve and correct yourself?
I've improved a lot.
What's happened to those girlfriends? Are they still there?
Yeah, they're all my friends, yeah. They're still my friends.
But no longer called girlfriends.
No girlfriends. They're my friends.
What about the children? You've got 3. Are you a good father to them?
I could have been better. I can be better. I'm trying to be a good father, a better father, but I still feel I can be better. Because
Your
you
friends
see,
say very interesting things about you. They say that he has a gregarious personality, but behind it he's actually quite a shy, private, reserved person.
yeah, yeah, I do, like I like spending as much time as possible with myself. I like spending time with my family. But in a profession, and sometimes you have to do things which, you have to live for others also sometimes. If me going to some wedding or for some function or some kind of a get-together makes them happy, I do that for them. I never do it for myself.
And you hate yourself doing it? Or at
I
least you
push
don't like
myself.
it?
I push myself. I push it. I really push myself. I go out. If you find me anywhere at a function or at a party or at a get-together or a wedding, I'm doing it because somewhere I feel if it makes them happy, and it's somewhere I'm, doing something which is sometimes very important in society. You cannot be living for yourself. You
But
have to
this
live for
also
others also.
suggests that the world has never really got to see or know the real Anil Kapoor.
Well, I don't know. I think few people know me.
But
That much.
only a few.
Very few. Yeah.
So today have we got a glimpse of what you're really like, or is this another performance?
No, it's not a performance, to be honest with you, really. Well, I wish we could, speak for a longer time, and I'm sure, and, the time is short.
But a hint of what you're really like is what you've given us.
Yeah.
And the real Anil is, in fact, that smiling face in front of me. A little shy, a little boyish, and someone who's always willing to do his best.
And extremely sensitive, extremely. Sometimes I hurt very easily, but I never show it.
Brave face, that's what you put on that.
Yeah.
Anil, a pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you.